Hey everybody! Happy Father's Day! Just thought I'd, give you a shout out there to all the fathers or the future fathers or the actual flight attendant fathers that are traveling and sacrificing a lot of time away from their children. So trust me, I understand. I am a mom. It is very hard, but you know what? It is a career. It is a choice, and it's something that we are proud of. And whether it is hard or not, we're making it happen. And I just wanted to say hi to all of you guys, and want to send you, prayers and love and hugs and kisses on a special day for those who have fathers, for those who are fathers, and for fathers that have passed on, like my dad. So today is kind of like bittersweet. I have my in-laws at home taking care of my children when I am traveling. And so it was nice to celebrate him, my father-in-law, and my husband. Obviously they are fathers, but it was also very sad because I've lost my father back in 2011, and losing him was very hard for me because I was very close to him. So every year it's been very challenging for me. So I thought I'd make a little video just to kind of cheer myself up and cheer you guys up if you're in my situation and you've lost the loved ones. It's, especially in days like today, like Father's Day or Mother's Day, or, even the holidays like Christmas and all these holidays, just kind of, it's a time where you spend time with your family, and when you don't have that loved one, it just gets really hard. So every year we go to my dad's favorite restaurant, and then we just celebrate him, maybe not in person, but in just through thoughts and things that he loved, and that's just my way of remembering him, I guess. And I'm sure everybody has their own way of remembering the ones that they love, but that is the way that I did it for the last 8 years, right? Yeah, he passed away in 2011. We're 19, so yeah, it's been hard, but with this said, I wanted to tell you guys about a story that happened, actually 2 stories. Let's start with the first one. I was working. As you all know, I'm based in MCO, which is Orlando. And so I was done with my shift, and there was no flight out that night because I finished at midnight, and there was no flight out of Orlando to go into Phoenix airport. So I had to sleep at the crash pad that evening, and the next morning I decided to take the first flight out because remember, we're on standby. Even though we fly for free, we can fly on any airline. The problem is we do fly on standby, which means if the flights look full, we don't get on. We are stuck. So it's got its positive and negatives, of course. So I tried the first flight out in the morning. When I got there, it didn't look good. It had looked good up to like a certain point the night before, but when I got there, because some of the flights were canceled the day before, everybody rolled over to the next flight in the morning. So, which meant that I basically had no space, but I was able to list myself on the jump seat, which means you're actually on a flight attendant seat, with the harness, which is protecting you, unlike the ones that you have on the seats, which is just like your waist. So I was able to kind of sit next to the flight attendant. So I put in for that, hoping that if the flight would be full, they would put me on a jump seat. Sure enough, I get to the counter. First thing she tells me, she says, "I'm sorry, but that Airbus does not have a jump seat." And I'm like, "It doesn't? Are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah, we don't have any on that flight." So I'm like, well, that's weird, because I remember when I went online, there was an option to list myself. And she's like, "Yeah, they might have an option, but there isn't." And I'm thinking, I know my planes and I know there is one, but I won't argue. She seems to know, because she even asked the lady next to her, and she said, yeah, we don't have a jump seat. So I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe they're right. I went back and sit down, and I was just waiting to see if there was one available spot. And as the people were checking in, and I could see like a bunch of people, I knew this flight was super full. She kept on saying, "It's not looking good, it's not looking good." So I went back to the counter and I asked her again. I said, how is it looking? And then all of a sudden there was another lady that worked at the counter, and she's like, "You're on the jump seat, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, and as we're talking, a lady popped out of nowhere. I'm telling you, nowhere. And she came up to me. She's like, "Are you the flight attendant that listed herself on the jump seat?" And I said, "Yeah." How do you know I'm a flight attendant? How do you know it's me? She's like, "I keep on watching you going up to the counter, and I figured you're a flight attendant," because I wasn't in uniform or anything, and I didn't have my scarf or anything. I just, maybe my luggage gave it away because it says crew on it, I'm guessing, but I don't even know if I had it on when I was walking to the counter. But she said to me, she said, "There is a spot there. I don't know why they're not letting you on." So I went up to them and I said, "Listen, we're 2 flight attendants now telling you that there is a seat there." So she's like, "Oh, let me ask. So the lady from the counter went and asked, and sure enough, there was a spot. There was a spot. I knew it all along. I might be new, but I knew it all along. And so she was like apologetic. "I am so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I said, "It's fine as long as you get me on there." So the flight attendant who had told me that there is a spot on the plane told me, "Hey, I'm there with my fiance. I'm here waiting. If you can find 2 spots," because sometimes they go into a plane, they are very quick to get everybody checked in, and sometimes they overlook a few seats that may be available. So she told me, "Can you double check, please?" And I said, "No problem, I'll do that for you." So they called me. I was standing there right next to them so I wouldn't, not hear them. And they're like, "Okay, Shelly, well, we have a spot." So I was all excited. So I had to sign, some paperwork. Ran into the plane, kind of took a quick look real quick, put my luggage up, looked around, and saw that everything was full. It really, really was full. So I felt so bad. So I told a lady from the gate agent, and I said, "Can you go back and tell the flight attendant that it is really full, there's nothing left?" So she's like, "Yes," and she left. So I am sitting now, so I'm all excited. I'm a little sad that it's a long flight and I'm stuck sitting on an uncomfortable seat for the entire duration, because I was hoping to sleep a little bit. It was early morning. I'm talking like 5-ish or 6-ish. So anyways, I sat on my jump seat. I started strapping myself in, and everybody's seated. We started we left the gate, and as we left the gate, we were on the runway, and that's when it all happened, you guys. Are you ready? So I'm sitting here and I'm talking to her, and then at one point we have to kind of get ready before takeoff, so obviously you can't talk and you got to concentrate on the situation at hand. So I was doing my silent review, and she was too. And then somebody out of the blue stands up. And mind you, I am sitting basically facing the entire plane. So I am sitting my back to the front, okay? And I'm watching everyone, because there's a little glass window and I could see everyone. And she's sitting next to me and she's right by the door. So I'm sitting there and the aisle is right here. So I'm sitting and I see this person getting up, and we're taxiing on the runway, ready to take off. Captain gets on the intercom and says, "Flight attendant, prepare for takeoff." We're like, "Oh my God, she just stood up. What is wrong with her?" So we're like, sit down, we're about to take off." And she's like, "No." And then the gentleman next to her stands up and he keeps on doing this to her. And we're like, no, we know she's standing up. Thank you for letting us know. She needs to sit down. She went in front of him and starts walking toward us. Now, the bathroom is right next to me because the captain's here. So just kind of picture it. I'm here, my coworker is here, the aisle is right there, and the cabin, the bathroom is right there. So she's walking and walking. So my friend, obviously, because it was not my job, since I'm not per se on duty, even though you are considered on duty if you are on the jump seat, I didn't want to, I wanted the lead to take the lead, basically. So she stood up, took off her harness, got up, and she was like, "Ma'am, you need to sit down. We're about to take off." And she's like, "No, I can't, because blue." And when I say blue, I meant a mouth explosion, literally everywhere. So she didn't make it to the bathroom, and she was probably the 6th seat before the front. So she was like the 6th seat on the left side. So we have 3 seats and then 3 seats, and it's like that all the way through the Airbus. So she was the 6th, and not in the aisle in the middle. So she stood up. So what the guy was trying to tell us is she's not feeling well, but he wasn't communicating that. He was just pointing at her. She stood up and he stood up to let her pass. And when we were seeing this commotion from where my standpoint, we're telling him to sit down because we're about to take off and they're going to get hurt. She came walking really quickly, and we kept on telling her she can't go to the bathroom, which is what we gathered she wanted. And we're thinking, well, you know, we can't be in, we're almost going up, obviously not 90 degrees, but you know, it's really hard to stand up while you're going to get hurt. So we're trying to protect her. And by law, you're not supposed to be standing when you're on a runway. Sure enough, she gets up, runs to the bathroom, doesn't even have time to tell us what she wanted, and vomits literally everywhere. And by doing so, everything splashed. So she didn't get a chance to open the bathroom door. So it basically it bounced off the bathroom, went into my hair, on my face, on my body. It went on my friend's outfit because she stood up to talk to her. She had it all over her. It was dripping all over. It was just not a little vomit. It was like an atomic bomb. Like, I don't know if you guys know, like, I've been vomited on by my kids, and you know, it's disgusting. It really is. And it's not pleasant. But when you're getting vomited by a stranger and you don't know what the situation is she sick? Is that something that's a virus? I mean, am I going to get sick? Those are all the questions that you ask yourself. And then you're in charge of a plane at this point. We're about to take off. Like, literally, he's like, the throttle are up and he's about to take off. So I had to call the captain, and I said, we have an emergency, you can't take off. And then he goes, okay, stand by. So I hung up, and once I hung up with him, we can feel him kind of turning around. So he got out of the runway to get out of the area. And then I called them back and I said, we have to go back to the gate. I mean, there's no way that passengers can be walking in this condition. It smells bad. Plus, if we take off, the vomit will just fly all the way through the cabin, all the way through the plane. We need to get off. So I made the call, spoke to the lead. She was distraught. She doesn't have any kids. She's very young. She started crying, and I was like, you have to get a hold of yourself because you're alone here. You're in charge. You're the lead, and I'm kind of like with you here in the front, but I am just as much vomited on as you are. So you need to kind of get a grip because you need to take care of everyone. So we got into the intercom and we told everybody we're turning around. There is something happened. We'll have to debark, and we will call you when the plane is ready because we need maintenance to come in on board and clean all of that stuff. So, so the trip back on the runway all the way back to the gate was horrible because not just with the person that had vomited, but with the lead. I had to console her. She was crying. She was in tears and she was shaking. She was like, I'm so disgusted. It's disgusting. I don't know what to do. So we ended up taking some coffee beans and throwing that all over the vomit so it wouldn't smell as bad. And then I was consoling the girl because she felt so bad. She started taking tissues and started cleaning the floor. And I told her, it's okay. Maintenance will take care of that. Don't worry. Are you feeling okay? Are you pregnant? So we went through all the symptoms. Are you pregnant? Is there something you ate at the airport maybe? Were you feeling sick? She said no. And I asked her, are you sick? Have you been vomiting? Is it something that you think either you ate or something you had since yesterday or the day before? And she said no. So we just took it as maybe something just didn't sit well with her at the airport from what I gather. And when I said, do you think you're pregnant? She says, I hope not. So there was a possibility. She was in her early 20s. So with that said, she couldn't walk because obviously it was surrounded by vomit. We didn't want her to step in it and walk back, so she stayed in the bathroom. We closed the door. We were heading back anyways. And so we proceeded to just talk, and the whole time I was consoling the lead, which was so funny. Like, why am I doing this? She's supposed to be taking charge, but it was an experience. Now I'll stick around because this video is going to be really interesting. I actually took a couple of pictures in a video of the vomit. I know it sounds gross, but I just wanted to share this story with you guys because it almost sounds like that. There's no way that happened. So I had to take a little video, and I even sent it to my husband to show him what we have to deal with as flight attendants. Not only are we psychologists, but we're doctors. We do it all, right? From giving oxygen to being, therapists. Psychologists. We have to understand people. And so it really felt good in a way to take charge, especially as a newbie. Not only was I in charge, I was talking to the captain, we're communicating. I took over the lead situation. We ended up parking the plane I covered it with plastic so people wouldn't run into the vomit, and they just kind of walked out one by one. And I told them, just lift your luggage, don't roll it into the vomit, whatnot. So everybody deplaned, they apologized. Everybody's like, I'm so sorry, and I'm like, I'm fine, just vomit on me. What do you want me to do? They ended up the lead ended up going home. They sent her home, paid and all, poor thing. I told them I was fine to fly that plane once they cleaned it. I had no issues. The only thing is my hair was full, my body was full, my uniform was full. So thankfully I had changed, not my uniform because I was not in uniform, but I did have my jacket from my uniform. And so I remember a lady coming out, she's like, check the back. And I'm like, what is it? And it was dripping vomit. I'm like, oh my God, I am vomiting on for real, wake up. I was trying to be strong and whatnot. I don't want to make a big thing because everybody's watching you. You have like 200 eyes on you. You can't be like, oh. So when she deplaned, I asked if they needed help, and the crew said they were fine. The cleaning crew said they were fine, so they cleaned that. I went to the bathroom. I literally had it was like a nude show. I just took everything off. I washed myself soap and water in the bathroom. It was disgusting. My hair, I had to wash whatever was in their chunks and then tie up my hair, and took off all my clothes, put them in a bag, tie them up because I didn't have time to wash them. We were gonna start boarding soon. And then I just changed because I have, us flight attendants, we live in our suitcase, so our suitcase is with us all the time. So I had some clothes to change in, so I changed everything, even my jacket. So I went back into the plane, and I had a new lead at this point. They switched the lead. Remember, I was not working. I'm just flying on standby, and I happened to be on the... Oh my God. Anyway, so I ended up taking the place of the girl that vomited. So I was on the 6th row in the middle. And I told the crew to clean it really well, and I double cleaned it just in case she was sick. But that was an experience. I ended up flying back not on the jump seat, but rather on a normal seat, which I could have fallen asleep. Yay! And I know it sounds disgusting, you guys. You just have to go with the flow. I'll be honest, this is just one of a million things that's happened, and I'm fairly new. Things happen all the time in the airline industry. You need to be ready for anything. This could happen to you, could happen to someone else. That's why when they ask you questions during your interview, if this and this happens, what would you do? I think click on your feet. So if that was you and you were sitting on my seat, how would you have reacted to that situation? I need to hear all about it. I am curious. I know it's disgusting. If you guys have a really weak stomach and this is not a story for you, I just wanted to let you know that this is just one of a million things that could happen. And if that disgusts you, be ready, because you will be cleaning a lot of vomit. That is reality. I didn't have to, thankfully, because we weren't in the air. But if we were in the air and this would have happened, yes, the pilot would have landed the plane probably, but we would have had to clean it. I mean, we can't just leave it there, because as you're landing, it's going down. The vomit would have slided everywhere, and it's not just a little bit. I'm talking a lot. Now, stay tuned for the videos and the pictures that I took. But you know what? It's an experience. I can look back, I can laugh about it, but at the time I saw how the lead was dealing with the situation, and she wasn't ready for something like that, which kind of made me sad because she had more years than I did, and she was a lot more experienced, and I thought she would have handled it a little bit better. So it kind of teaches you to it tests you. These situations will test you to see if you are ready or not. But I just wanted to give you a glimpse of what could happen. So I hope you enjoy the story, and stay tuned, because I do want to talk about another story that happened with my children. I flew with my children. Oh my God, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience, and at the same time nerve-wracking, but I'll tell you why on my next video. So make sure to subscribe. I've got so many stories. Make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload some videos, which is pretty often. I want to say 2 to 3 videos a week if I can. So love you guys. I hope you enjoy my story. See ya. And please don't think about this vomit. Bye. Well, somebody just vomited. I was sitting right over there full of vomit.